Okay. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to a special edition of Live at 5. You know, we normally have a Saturday night Live at 5, and today this is Friday Live at 5. We have a special edition coming to you just relating to where we are in our church activities. We are excited. This is actually a precursor for our service this coming Sunday. We are just culminating our vacation Bible school today, and we have been speaking about gifts of the Spirit. Wednesday night, I opened up with the fivefold ministry, talking about the apostles, what the apostles, what the prophets, evangelists, pastors, and teachers, what their role is in fivefold ministry. And then Sister Beeman, Mother Beeman, spoke about the gifts of the Spirit, the gifts of helps, and all kinds of wonderful gifts that the body needs. And so tonight, we are culminating with Minister Shirley Brown, who is offering her presentation as we consider the 9 gifts of the Spirit. And you will find that 1 Corinthians 12, verses 7 through 10. So tonight, I wanted to just talk about 15 to 20 minutes, give you a teaser about what is to come this Sunday. This Sunday, you don't want to miss it. We will not be in the sanctuary. We will be in God's sanctuary, which is outdoors. We're going to be at 7132 West Good Hope Avenue. That is the avenue of that is the avenue. That is the address of our school, Early View Academy of Excellence, here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And so we're going to just give you a highlight of our speaker. He wrote a book, Win Anyway. You want this book, Win Anyway. You want to get this book. I love some of the titles of his chapters. Use your excuse as an engine. These are powerful, powerful points. You do not want to miss it. This book is about overcoming obstacles and achieving greatness, really. It really is, while battling obstacles and sicknesses and his misunderstandings and people misunderstanding him. He is a very powerful, powerful man of God. This young man, I call it, is a bright star in God's universe. And we are so honored just to have him online here today, because he's going to be with us Sunday at noon. He is our noonday speaker. And we thank God for Pastor Elder Dr. Shaun Saunders. God bless you, sir. You can unmute yourself and,
Listen,
and just thank the Lord for you.
yes, I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for your church, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity to come on live and talk about this coming Sunday.
Okay, there's a bit of a lag
Yes.
there. Maybe I don't know if you have the
Okay.
best Wi-Fi. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
So let's just get into your book. I want to give the saints, those who are in the Milwaukee area, again, meet us at 7132 West Good Hope Avenue. That is the Mount Zion Assembly Healing Temple. That is our school, Early View Academy. And you know, Brother Shaun, you have overcome a lot. This book doesn't do your life justice, because you have overcome a lot. I just wanted you to know, I want to ask you just a couple questions, like how long, because this book is, I want to say, autobiographical in nature, but how long did it take you to write this book? When, anyway? Oh, wow. Did we lose him?
Okay. It took
There you
me
are.
3 years to write. It took me 3 years to write because in the middle of writing, I had 2 strokes. And
Wow.
that was a win anyway thing that I did not expect. Um, I'm not even 40 years old yet, and the strokes happened 2 years,
Oh,
2 years back to back, and I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to be alive. Yeah.
this latest stroke, I remember this happened right during COVID. So I know that was a tough time, because people couldn't get to you because of hospital regulations and restrictions, and being in that situation and alone. How tough was that?
Yes, I mean, it was death all around me. And the hospitals were, um, de- it was decrepit, it was depressing, but God kept me. And he, um, he provided a way of escape, with the doctors and the nurses and
My,
the chaplains and all of that. I often talk about a nurse that was in the
mm,
ER when I first went to the ER, and I didn't even know I was having a stroke. Um, and she said, "You're nervous, but you cannot be nervous because the way you go down
mm,
is the way you'll come back up." And this nurse in the ER
yeah.
said the Lord's Prayer, and she recited the Lord's Prayer, and
Mm,
everybody in the ER said it with her. The doctors, the other patients, the other nurses, and that showed you just how purpose can be wherever you are. If you're a nurse, you can be doing purpose right there in the ER. If you're a doctor, if you are a teacher, and so with the fivefold gifts that you guys talked about
right.
in Vacation Bible School, you need to you need to be clear about God's priorities where you are, especially if you're not in the pulpit, because God's uh,
Oh,
God's
mm,
sanctuary is the world.
yes. All right, Brother Sean, you are freezing terribly on this side. It's difficult for us to hear what you're saying. I'm going to just keep going, and I want you just to stay put. You are explaining that it was God's purpose that you encountered two strokes, went through COVID, and then I want to just take the audience back because they don't know about this. They're going to buy these. Our people have already said they're going to buy this. And this book, Win Anyway, he gives all the excuses that people give. These are all the excuses. I'm too young. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. My father left me when I was 5. I have a criminal record. At my age, I should be retiring. They used me and then they left me. And so this book went anyway. How to turn obstacles into opportunities. And you have the ability, Sean, to bridge gaps between older people and younger people. I've watched you throughout the years. Some of us have watched you from afar online. And just talk about a moment how you were able to, what do you want the young people who read this book to walk away with? And then what do you want our seasoned citizens to walk away with?
Yeah, I mean, Titus is clear. The old men should be pouring into the young men. The old women or the elder women should be pouring into the
Oh,
uh, the church girls or the girls in society. And I want everyone to turn their excuses into engines, because
right.
everybody has an excuse. Everybody has a sad day. Everybody has a reason that they can't do it. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how well you are. I don't care how wealthy you are. There's something in this book for every single person, no matter how old you are or how young you are.
Absolutely. I definitely believe in, I definitely, you are absolutely true. This book is power packed full of experiences that everybody can relate to. Everybody can relate to being discouraged because of relationship issues. Everybody can relate to being discouraged because you feel you're misunderstood. I want you to talk about the Pizza Hut incident where you were with your baby girl and you went and did your normal pizza activity and you called her name out because you saw a truck getting ready to come in her direction, but you couldn't move because of the issues that were going on in your body. He had to have double hip. It's a lot's going on. Go ahead and help us out and tell us
Yeah.
about that.
So God knows how to get your attention. And every single time I
Yes.
did not want to step out on faith, God got my attention in a way that I could not shake. And uh, that evening is still on the top of my memory because my daughter was young. She was like
Mm.
3 years old, and we were going to Pizza Hut like we do every single week. And we finished our Pizza Hut. We're going to the parking lot, and I was walking, but I was struggling because at that time I was taking, I think, I think, uh, 4 pills a day, um, because it was just too much pain. And my daughter led the way, and I was behind her. And then a truck came out of nowhere, and it was about to run her over. And as her father, I and as her father, I rushed to her help, but I could not get there in time because my legs were not working. And that was the day that I decided I'll do the hip replacements. I was, I was 30 years old. I was 30 years old.
Wow. You had necrosis. You had a hip issue, and so just reading his book. I don't know if you all can hear him. He's cutting out on our end. There's a tremendous lag, but he had avascular necrosis. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
And so those are that's and you said the doctor still doesn't know why the blood circulation stopped at your
Nope.
hip joints.
Nope. They still don't know
So
why.
was this like a congenital, meaning hereditary thing, or what
Nope.
happened?
Nobody in my family has this issue. No one.
Isn't that something?
Ain't that
God
something?
creates things for a miracle to be birthed,
Mm.
right? And so another question I wanted to talk about your book, you talked about you were in such pain. And so when you look at where you were then, now, first of all, I didn't give you due justice of an introduction. This young man has 4 degrees by the time he was 25, 28. You said don't
30,
talk about it,
30,
but
30,
it's
30.
but it's still important. I mean, we're not talking about y'all. We're not talking about online degrees where you can buy them for $25. We're talking about Princeton. We're talking about Seton Hall. We're talking about Duke University. And this is just one these are the things we want to show our young people that it can be done. Now, what you have done is extraordinary. I don't know anybody who has those kinds of degrees for those Ivy League schools by the time you're 29 or 30. But what how did God impress upon you to write this book?
Yeah. That was a pivot for me because I'm a preacher and I'm a songwriter and I preach. And so all of my books prior to this book, they quote a scripture. But
Mhm.
then I went to an engagement that I did not have a book to leave with the children because my books were too preachy. And I was like,
Yeah,
yo, I
right,
need
right.
a book that
Know your
will
audience, right,
speak to the world. I need a
right.
book that will speak to the non churchgoer. I need a book that will tell my testimony without the church lingo. And that is
Mhm.
why I decided to write this book.
Some of the things that you cover are just extraordinary. You have a quote in here from Michael Jordan that is profound. I failed over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeed. But the name of the chapter is called If You Learn from It, It's Not a Mistake, it's Tuition. And I love that. I love that because everything God takes us through, it's like a down payment for the rest of your destiny, right? It's like a down payment for the rest of your life and where God is taking you. All the
My
you said
God.
all the mistakes you made. Yeah, all the mistakes you made. What mistake led you to this book though? If I could say that.
Mm. I mean, a lot of mistakes. um, I think
What how would
the
you
the
what would
cul-
you
the
go ahead, I'm sorry.
culmination of this book was, people do see me and they're amazed at the Princeton and the Duke and the Seton Hall and the businesses and all of that. But I wanted a book to highlight my valleys. Every
Come on.
single chapter has a valley experience that most people don't think that I went through. I got fired from my job. Um, I
We
was,
gonna release that.
yeah, I was devastated. All of these degrees, but I got rejected every single area of my life. Um, I got divorced. I love my daughter. She is my church, but that
Mm,
was not what I expected, especially because me and Anna were virgins until we got married. We were Pentecostal. We were,
yeah.
the
Church,
Beyonce and the
church
Jay-Z
baby.
of the kingdom. Yeah.
Oh
And
Lord.
and and then we got divorced. And so when I look back over my life, there are valley moments that I needed to share with the world so that people
Yeah.
don't godify what they don't understand.
Godify. Wow. Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. One of the things you write about in the lesson in the process is MySpace blogs help me to see that when you are supposed to become something to the world, you are already that something in the dark behind the scenes. And many times people look at people as an overnight sensation. It wasn't overnight. It took some years, it took some sicknesses, it took some illnesses, it took some relationships that have been interrupted. And so God wants to use everything that we have gone through for a reason. And sometimes, the catchphrase, especially during the pandemic, was there's a purpose in your pain. And we all went through that. We all have our valleys. But what made you use the MySpace example? Because we are all something God is shaping and making all of us in the dark, so He brings us to the light for the world to see.
Yes. I mean, you have to be in the dark because the dark protects you. If you're in
Mm,
development, you have to be in the dark, um, because light too soon can blind you. And I see, especially with my age bracket, talented people, creative people, but they are exposed too soon. And I
wow.
thank God for the journey that I am on. I thank God for
Amen.
praying grandparents. I thank God for a foundation because all
Yeah.
of those intricate steps allowed me to walk around and stay planted where I am.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And as I talked about the Vacation Bible School, we are culminating Vacation Bible School tonight. Just in about 40 minutes, we're going to begin at 6 o'clock. We're doing this live. I'd like to even do a post interview on Sunday night. We'll see how things go. But you mentioned about the dark and being developed. When you look at what photographers did back in the day, that dark room was very important. And if they opened the door too soon, it could mess up and expose the pictures and they would be lost forever. And I'm so glad that God does not expose us too soon. And you brought out a very pivotal point that artists out here, a lot of the artists out here, they see the numbers, they see the money, they see the checks, the coins, and because they don't have the maturity to deal with it, when they do get the money, they blow it. Look at all the people who have won lotteries. 3 years later, the average lottery winner of millions of dollars, 3 years later, they're broke or they're worse than where they were before they bought that ticket. And so we are praising God because God had you in the dark for a number of years. A lot of people don't know about you. Many people do. This young man has worked with Pastor John Hanna. He is well known in the Midwest and the East Coast and West Coast. But there are still a lot of people who don't know about you. And we hope that through this broadcast, through you coming on Sunday, that you will be speaking of exposure, you will be exposed because you have something to say, young man, and we are proud of you. We are so glad. Anything else you want to tell our audience? And even in the replay, because this is a pop-up, so even in the
Okay.
replay, they will see this.
Yes. So we are going to do a post interview. So I'm sorry that the Wi-Fi was the Wi-Fi, but I'm traveling because I have to go to Memphis and then I have to go to Milwaukee, and I want to say to you, uh, Bishop, that I thank you and I love you.
God bless you. We look forward to seeing you. We are live in this sanctuary, y'all. We want you to come down at 6 o'clock. We culminating the gifts of the Spirit, the 9 gifts of the Spirit. But we want to also remind you this coming Sunday, we will not be in the sanctuary. We will be here, be at 7132 West Good Hope. This is Shaun Saunders' book. You can buy it on Amazon. He also will have books with him. He will be signing right after service. So service is at 12 o'clock. We will have food, fellowship, fun, something for everyone, all ages. We're just so glad that you come. Thank you, Pastor Shaun, Elder Shaun. And look at the flyer. You see, we have some goodies for you. So we thank God for this opportunity. Thank you for allowing us to have this pop up live at 5. And we will have a post interview Sunday evening. If it's not shown Sunday evening, it will be shown during Wednesday night Word for the World as we speak about the gifts of the Spirit. And in this hour, we must be circumspect. The Bible reminds us to walk circumspect. Watch where you're going. Watch your associations. Watch what, because all that is going to be a part of your development and the fruit. You don't want to bear sour fruit. You don't want to bear underdeveloped fruit. And then you don't want to develop fruit that's too ripe, that's not good. So we want you to continue to support this young man win anyway. Pastor Elder Dr. Shaun Saunders will be with us Sunday. God bless you. We'll see you next time.